So over the last couple months, I kind of fell off playing Generation Zero, and that was partially due to college because I started a new semester, but also because the game had kind of gotten stale for me. And the biggest reason why was because I hadn't really been changing up my loadout very much. I've been using the same guns for almost a year now, except for the KVM 89 because after it got buffed, I started using that. But other than that, I'd been running basically the same loadout for almost a year, I think, now at this point. So it was starting to get a little tiring doing the exact same thing every single time. So when I heard weapon augments were coming, I didn't really think much of them at the time because they weren't going to apply to experimentals, and I assumed they wouldn't be useful enough to replace any experimentals. And also, I figured even if they did become good eventually, they might end up kind of like the new experimentals, where when they're first added, they're kind of bad, and maybe they'll buff them with some community outcry. But boy, was I wrong. Due to the massive number of spare weapons I had collecting dust in my pack mule, I had basically no trouble getting the parts I needed to do these new augments because you get the parts you need by scrapping weapons that are 2 crown and higher. And I had hundreds and hundreds of 5 and 6 crown weapons built up from my time playing the game, so I didn't have any trouble getting that stuff. Unfortunately, some of the tasks, the research tasks that you have to do to unlock certain weapon augments before you can craft them, don't seem to track perfectly because there's several that I definitely have done in my time playing the game that just aren't marked as complete or are only partially complete. Like killing a certain number of tanks and harvesters, I've definitely done that, but it I guess wasn't tracking it for long enough or something. So that's something a lot of late game people like me are going to run into, is it might not have fully tracked some stuff that it definitely should mark as complete. So be aware of that. That's mostly fine though. None of them are like particularly hard. I think most of them are just kill a certain number of enemies this way, or one of them's run a few thousand meters on foot, which isn't that hard. So it's not a big deal. It's just something to be aware of. And I also have not been able to try the weapon augments on every single 5 crown weapon yet because there's a lot of them. But on the ones I have tried, they have made the weapon a lot more fun and also been very interesting to try to figure out what the best one is, because there's a lot of individual weapon augments and 5 crown weapons can have 2 of them. So I've been playing around with that a lot, and I'm not going to go super in depth on which ones are the best or whatever, but it provides a lot of really cool decision making and options for new builds and new loadouts for people to come up with. I wouldn't say any of these new augments are broken. Like, I wouldn't say any of them are overpowered. Some of them are very fun to use because they feel a little powerful, but none of them like completely break the game. So because of that, the weapon augments have actually caused me to change quite a bit of my setup. I've started using the AI-76, which I haven't used since before my Reaper killing days in this game, and the PM-71, which is a DLC gun from one of the Soviet weapons packs. And I use both of them with the crazy extended magazine augment, which gives the PM over 400 rounds, and the AI-76 basically becomes a mini light machine gun. It does increase the recoil a lot on both of them, but it's not enough to be too much of a problem, so I still use it even with that. Another weapon that you've been seeing me use on screen this entire time during the space assault mission is the RLG-7, which, oh boy, this thing is wild with the right augments. One of them is increased damage to structures. The max level of it gives you plus 100% more damage to structures, or you get double damage to structures. That with this weapon is absolutely wild. Like, it, at least on the difficulty I'm playing on skirmish, it insta kills the turrets in the base assaults, and as you saw when I was done at the command center there, it took 3 of them to knock out the command center. So this is that's definitely one of the biggest improvements from these augments, is the RLG, if you use the right stuff with that. And man, is it fun. The base assaults are already one of the most fun things in the game because of the sheer chaos they typically devolve into. But with this new thing, I got completely drunk on the power of my late game weapons combined with this new augment. I probably only like it because I enjoy blowing things up, but I don't care. It's a lot of fun. I've tried a couple other builds with this new feature, but those are the ones I wanted to mostly talk about. There's a few other different ones that I've seen people making videos about, and I'm sure someone else is going to make a very good tier list or breakdown of every augment and which ones are the best, which ones you should be using, but I don't want to do that because I don't want to have to go through every single one on every single weapon. That'll take a very long time, and I unfortunately don't have that much time on my hands. Still, overall, this is a great addition to the game. I've been worrying that the game is starting to lose development resources since it's made most of the money it's probably going to make, but this update gives me some hope that we might at least get a few more major pieces of new content before it fully ends. So yeah, thanks for watching. I can't wait for this video to get way fewer views than my ones complaining about the new experimental weapons simply because I'm actually being positive for once instead of negative. But whatever, I'm still having fun. If you like what I do and you want to see more of it, then like, subscribe, do all the typical YouTube stuff. If I got anything wrong or you have some thoughts of your own on this, I'd enjoy reading them in the comments. Also, if this video is a bit weird, it's because I'm using a new video editor because my old one was from like 2017 and it used my CPU to render videos instead of my GPU. And I'm on a better and more modern one now, but I'm still getting used to it. I'm still not as good with it as I was my old one. So this video might be a bit scuffed, but yeah. Again, thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video whenever that ends up being. Hopefully college loosens up a bit and I'll be able to make a few more videos. But yeah. See you next time.